Hi guys, and welcome to a new book review video. So today I want to review and sort of analyze The Great Gatsby. And I'm going to analyze it by making a parallel with Persuasion by Jane Austen. So, there's going to be spoiler. First, I have to say, I started this book long time ago. I think the first time I encountered it was because of John Green. I think there was a Nerdfighteria reading session, and basically we had to read like one chapter every few days or every week. And I never finished the book. I fell out of watching those videos for one reason or another, and I never actually finished the book. But recently, I wanted to watch the movie. And since I'm not allowed to watch the movie if I haven't read the book first, I had to read the book. So I read the book very quickly, and then I watched the movie. So let me talk about the book by itself. It's a story, like the narrator is not Gatsby. And what it does to you, it's actually give you an outsider perspective into the world of Gatsby. So basically, you enter this story by being with that character who has no idea who Gatsby is. All he knows is that Gatsby is his neighbor. He has lots of party, and basically that's it. So you see both sides of the river. Basically, you see Gatsby side. You see that he's having parties. That the main character with the narrator doesn't know what's going on, if he should go or not. He waits actually until he is invited to go there, even so nobody is invited. And on the other side you have Daisy Buchanan and her husband, and she's a cousin of the narrator. So you're going to have like a vision, a brand new vision inside her life, because the narrator just arrived in the city and he's going to visit his relative. And then you have this story of Daisy and what's going on in her life. And then you also have, so kind of as a way to put Daisy in a righteous sort of place, you see that the Buchanan man is having an affair. And then you see who is having an affair with, how he's dealing with it, and the deprivation of that side from Daisy's husband. So you have a sort of parallel between Gatsby having the parties, and he doesn't actually drink or do anything wrong. Gatsby is like a sort of model of chastity, kind of. He's like very pure in all his action. They say that he makes money in like bad ways, like not very legal ways, probably because he's selling the alcohol, but at least on his personality, what he showed to the world, he doesn't actually mix with the people who are having the party at his own house. He's sort of like back and detached from those people. Then on the other side you have the Buchanan guy, who is proper in every way. He got money from his family, he was like a polo player, and he has all this money like righteously, but on the other side he do all those bad things. He has a mistress, he's drinking a lot, he has fit of hunger. So you have those two characters that are put in parallel, and you have in the middle Daisy, who is supposed to choose. And I'm like, oh my god, like for me, I was like, oh, she has this awesome great guy she's not married to, and she has her husband on the other side who doesn't care about her and who has a mistress. So who is she going to choose? Through the main part of the book, through all the book, it's sort of obvious that she is going to choose Gatsby. When you actually hear what happened before her wedding, you would think that she would choose Gatsby. And I think a lot of women around here, me included, we would choose Gatsby. And on the other way, if you look at it from Abby's point of view, from the fact that she has a child, and from the fact that she has something to lose by following Gatsby. I know a lot of people would decide to stay in the unhealthy relationship just to protect themselves from the loss. No matter how much they're gonna gain, it's like you have the unknown things you can gain on one side, and you have what you already know. And I think a lot of people, it's kind of a metaphor for a lot of people. It's like even if you have this all shiny thing you can get, you're going to stick with your routine, and basically that's what she does. And she does it in the most gruesome way possible. That make the main character, the narrator, question the morality of all those people. Because for the main part of the novel, they put all Gatsby down, sort of, as being not morally correct, because he comes from new money and they don't know how he got that. It could have been that he was working really hard. We don't know. Like, there is no. It's only gossips about does he get it lawfully or is he against the law or something. It's just gossip. We don't have an exact way to know how he got this money. And I think that's what pissed off most of those characters. They want to know he has a secret, and because they don't know his secret, they want to put him down. And on the other side, so they put him morally down, but at the end, they are all morally wrong when nobody show up for his funeral. I told you there was going to be spoiler. So when nobody shows up to his funeral, you actually see that not only Daisy is just so into her husband, but she just decided to pretend she killed someone. See, she didn't kill someone because she actually killed someone. Gatsby was taking the blame for her, and even after all that, it was not good enough for her. And I don't really, like, I have a big problem to understand her way of thinking. I can understand that it was hard for her, Gatsby demanded for her to deny her love for her husband. And I think she did love her husband. And she actually said so. I think she loved Gatsby, and then she had her husband to love, and she didn't think about Gatsby until she met him again. Basically, she has probably been in love with Gatsby all the time, but it was such a repressed feeling that she had like changed and loved her husband more at some point. And the fact that he actually told her to deny her love for her husband, when actually what happened during that time when he was away was that she had fallen in love with someone else and didn't really love him anymore. She loved him like it was a hidden love, like it's like loving someone and you're never gonna get them. And so it's a sort of different love than what she expressed with her husband, basically. So Gatsby Demon was a little bit too much. He wanted to rewrite the past, which is not something possible. But I still believe that he didn't deserve that. Like, the way, okay, he saved Daisy, basically, because otherwise everybody would know that she killed someone. So he took the blame for himself. And I don't know how she's going to live with herself for the rest of her life, knowing that. Because it already seemed that she was a little bit stressed out because of her husband's affair, because of not being in the same city she used to be, because of everything that happened to her, and now she has these things she has to forget. Basically, she has to forget that she killed someone, that the man she loved took the blame for her, and that she abandoned him even when he died. And I can see her kill herself. Basically, I don't know what happened to her. In the book, she just lived somewhere else with her husband, and like nothing happened. But I would love to see the turmoil inside of her, because something has to be happening there. Unless she was true to her belief, she said, like when she had a daughter, she wanted her to be a fool, because that's all a woman can be in this world. So basically, she thought she was smart, and that if she hadn't been so smart, she would have been happier. And I guess that's what That's what should make her go crazy after everything that happened. So we don't see her after Gatsby's death, we only see her husband, but I'm pretty sure inside of her something must go completely wrong, unless she has been so used of denying everything that she actually is that she can just cope in that way. So she's going to deny that she loved Gatsby, she's going to deny she killed someone so strongly that it's become her core values. So that book was very interesting read, and I think it's better for me to have read it now than when I started read it the first time, because I think now it has more value for me than when I was younger. And also because I have read Persuasion from Jane Austen, which is one of my favorite Jane Austen book. And I see a strong parallel between the main character Anne and Daisy. So the heroine in the Jane Austen book actually is got persuaded, so the title is Persuasion. She got persuaded not to marry the poor guy she was in love with. And as a result, she didn't marry anyone. That's what happened. And it's kind of the same situation Daisy is in. When she meets Gatsby, Gatsby is poor, and so she cannot marry him because of the statue that is so different. So Gatsby goes to look for his fortune in the army, and it's the same in Persuasion. The love interest goes in the army to pursue money, to be able to become wealthy and marry whoever he wants. You have the two women put in the exact same situation, but the way they handle it is complete opposite. So in Jane Austen novel, the woman doesn't get married and she just waits. So 8 years later, you have the love interest who is wealthy, who arrive, and she meet him again. And the whole story is about that meeting. Is he going to marry someone younger? Does he still love her? Can she still get him even if she said no before? Is her family going to accept their love story now or not? Do they want her to marry someone else? So you have all these problems. But in The Great Gatsby, you have Daisy, who actually, instead of waiting, she just married someone else. And then when she meets Gatsby again, she just wants him straight away. And she wanted with her own condition. And I think that's a very when you read both, you have a very powerful message. You have the message when like love was stronger and she waited to be able to get what she wants properly. And in the case of Daisy, Daisy was so impatient and she just rushed into everything. She rushed into marry the guy she didn't really love at first. She rushed into falling in love with that guy and then he got an affair because the love was probably not true on his side. So then she rushed into Gatsby again because she has actually no boundary. She doesn't put any boundary on herself, and I think Daisy has very little value for herself because she is just sort of selling herself cheap. It's like the guy wants her, so she's gonna give herself to him. In the case of her husband and also in the case of Gatsby. So, and she followed her husband everywhere, even when he's being really bad. She could have asked for a divorce before Evan Gatsby was there, just because he was having affair after affair after affair. And she didn't like that. So there is a lot of things Daisy could have done differently to make herself more comfortable. But instead, she decided to keep listening to other people and do what other people thought was the right things to do, even when it ended up being morally wrong, making her miserable, and all that kind of thing. So it's just exactly the opposite as in Persuasion. In Persuasion, you have that young woman who is persuaded to drop the affair, but she refused to get married to the man who actually loved her, who actually married her sister instead. She just wait and wait until she actually feels that love feeling again. And the thing is, it happens to be to the same person. Even with both of them evolving into different ways, they are still in love. And that's something we have in The Great Gatsby too. They evolve in different ways, but they are still in love, just the way they evolve go against their love story. Like Gatsby demands too much, and Daisy cannot afford to give even a little bit of herself. So, yeah, I think that's a very good parallel to make. If you read one book and read the other, I haven't read them like both at the same time just to make this parallel. I read Persuasion several times before. Actually, I read it because I watched a movie called um, The Lack House. And in The Lack House, the character says that this book is her favorite. So that's why I picked it up. And I didn't regret. And yeah. So even after that, like because I remember that Persuasion book so well, when I saw The Great Gatsby, I was like, oh, it's kind of the same, except Daisy is married. But when I see the ending, I'm like, what the hell is happening? Why is like Gatsby? Why do Gatsby deserve so much, not hatred, but so much misery in his life? Like, what has he done that makes him deserve so much misery? And yeah, that's basically my big thought about it. It's a very good book, like both of them, Persuasion and The Great Gatsby, are very good books. If you want to read them, just go ahead and let me know what you think. If you have read any of them, just let me know what you think. I think it's very interesting to make like relationship between stories that happened in different period. It's still, you can see that like in England and America, or in that Jane Austen period or the Great Gatsby other period, you always have this same way of creating relationship. You always have the same sort of theme, and I think it's very interesting to make a parallel between books, whether they are close in time or geographically or not. So anyway, guys, that's my thought on The Great Gatsby. Let me know what you think. The movie is absolutely fantastic too, so if you haven't watched the movie either, you can try that. You don't have to read the book first, that's just me, okay? I'm not gonna be mad if you do the movie without doing the book. Just let me know what you think about any of that book or movie, Great Gatsby or Persuasion. I would love to read your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to give this video a thumb up and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. See you next time for something else, and have fun whatever you read. Bye!